What's good, everybody? So today we're gonna do something a little different. You know how I was the main person on YouTube slamming that Bumblebee movie, talking about how garbage it was. It was just SJW nonsense in my mind. But anyway, I was challenged in the comment section about, well, if I can talk about how bad the movie is, what type of a movie I would create for the Transformer world or for Bumblebee. And I accept that challenge. If anybody else ever have a challenge or a topic they want me to discuss, just let me know in the comment section. I love to get good debates and, movie thoughts going back and forth. So here's gonna be how I would make my Transformer or Bumblebee movie. Now, to make a movie or make a world like this, you got to establish the rules of your universe. And my rules being the way things operate with the Transformers. So first and foremost, I want to establish the ages of the Transformers. Now, 1 through 5 is the stages I'm going to give you. 1 being like a hatchling or early youth. 3 being middle age, like in their mid 20s, 30s or something like that. And then 5 being that they're fully grown. The spark inside of them is at its full strength. They're the biggest and strongest they're gonna be. That's a level 5. Somebody like Optimus Prime, somebody like Megatron, Shockwave, they're level 5 stages of maturity. Somebody like Bumblebee, he's like a level 3. He's not a young man, he's not full grown yet, he's just in the middle. So that's a Bumblebee. And then like I say, like a hatchling or maybe one of those tiny, Autobots that we've seen in the movies, they can be level 1s as well. So now that we got their ages out the way, let's talk more about that Allspark. Now the Allspark inside of them, to me, that's their life force. That's what allows them to carry more stronger weapons, bigger weapons, obviously, because as you get more older and more mature, your spark grows. And that spark, it's what replenishes your weapons, your ammo. It allows you to carry multiple weapons, cannons, bigger blasters. You seen Shockwave in Transformers, I think that was Revenge of the Fallen, where he had that big ass worm thing that goes in the ground. See, those type of things are for level 5. But then you go to somebody like Bumblebee, he's a level 3. Well, he just has some pretty good, nice arm cannons, some decent blasters, but he's not on a level to compete with a Shockwave 101 or even an Optimus Prime or a Megatron 101 because they're level 5s. So their weapons would just demolish Bumblebee, as his weapons wouldn't do that much damage to them. So let's talk more about the Transformers and Decepticons themselves. Now, I would establish species. There has to be different species when they're in the hatchling stage. That establishes if they're gonna be helicopters, if they're gonna be cars, trucks, or some big ass like demolishing machine. I don't know what we seen a wrecking ball guy from Transformers 2. So there has to be some sort of species that differentiate the different Transformers and what they can transform into. Even as a level 5, if you're born as a car, you're gonna stay a car even as a level 5. You may be a bigger, more stronger car at a level 5, but at the same time, you're always gonna be a car. Same thing for somebody who's like Starscream. When he was born, when he was a hatchling, it was already established he was gonna be an aeroplane of some kind, a flyer, if you will. So when Starscream, no matter how old he get, when he get to level 5, all that means for him is he'll be a bigger, badder jet or a flyer or whatever he chooses to be, but he can never go from a flyer to a car now. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to establish the rules of species within the Autobots and Decepticons and what they're allowed to transform into and what they're not allowed to transform into. So that's some of my rules I would go through. And then the last rule I would go through is hierarchy. Politics on Cybertron. Is there a president? Is there a Congress? Is there a Senate? How is decisions made? How is decisions to go to war made? Who makes the decisions? Who are the elders? Who do they look up to? Is there a history? Have they been around for millions of years, thousands of years? You have to establish all this in the rules of your universe. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the actual movie. For my movie, I would start the movie out. The very first scene, the very first thing that you see is a camera panning through Cybertron a little bit, and we find Bumblebee. And what is Bumblebee doing? He's putting on his new blaster that he got from Optimus Prime as a present for reaching level 3 maturity. So now that he's level 3, like we were talking about earlier, he's stronger. So he doesn't need his level 2 blaster. Now he got this brand new state-of-the-art level 3 blaster, and he's trying it on, he's fixing it and whatever, So he gets a call from Optimus Prime telling him, I need you to come to a training session. We got a brand new batch of Autobots and we need you to come here and, help us train them. So Bumblebee, he rides through the city, he's riding through, and as he's going through the training session, this gives you a chance to show the scenery. Maybe there's statues, big ass statues of former primes, just the lore of Cybertron. Maybe you see other Autobots and Decepticons just working on their ammo, working on their armor, whatever you want to have them do in their day-to-day lives. Maybe they're building shit. They don't have to necessarily fight all the time. Maybe they're just building more better technology for their world. And then that's when I would like to have Bumblebee maybe stop by some sort of factory. It could be 2 factories, one for Autobots, one for Decepticons. So naturally, Bumblebee goes into the Autobots factory. He talks to the doctors, the scientists, you know what I'm saying? And those are a different species of Autobots also. This is a way you can introduce new characters. So as he's talking to the doctors and the scientists about the hatchlings, that's when they tell him, yeah, this guy's gonna be a flyer, this guy's gonna be a truck, this guy's gonna be this. That's when you establish, the hatchlings and what they can be. So after Bumblebee stops at the science office or the lab or factory, whatever you want to call it, then he goes to the training session. He meets with Optimus Prime and the new Autobots. Optimus Prime maybe asks him how he liking his new blaster and tells him he's still got a couple more stages to go to be a full-grown Autobot, but they need, as he's getting older, they need him to be more mature and set an example for the other Autobots, the younger ones. So they go through the training session. Bumblebee shows out. He loves his new blaster. He really shows the youngsters what's up. They all look up to Bumblebee. He's like, a celebrity to them. Like, he's like their version of Justin Bieber, if you will. So yeah, Bumblebee's like a celebrity. So when he goes there and he's all cool and shit, the young Autobots like that. And you get to showcase Bumblebee's skill compared to other Autobots. You don't have to necessarily always have Bumblebee going up against Optimus Prime to where he's so overpowered. No, you can show Bumblebee really showcasing his skill, his blasting abilities, and all that during his training session. Now you can go from the training session, and I would say Bumblebee is going back home to get a refuel on oil or, tune up his blaster a little bit. And that's when you can have Bumblebee see his love interest. It has to be a love interest for Bumblebee. He has to have feelings and emotions and care about something. He's not a human, but he's human-like. They're bipedal, they walk, they talk, so shit, he's human-like. That's what I'm saying. So that's when Bumblebee can see his love interest. You have a cool little moment. You don't want to make it so over the top because Bumblebee is young, he's shy, he doesn't want to rush in there and just, he's fumbling over his words, things like that. That's when you can have some good touchy-feely heart and soul of your movie come in that show that Bumblebee has feelings. Now you go from that, Bumblebee goes home, gets ready for the next day, and he's called to the Senate because there's a meeting. There's a problem on Cybertron. Now this is Act 2. This right now I'm talking about is the second part or the middle of the movie. Act 2 is when you establish the problem on Cybertron is that the core is unstable. The planet is, going to blow up or it's not livable anymore. Now, the Decepticons, they have a way to solve that. Hey, we're bigger, we're stronger, we have better weapons and technology than anybody else in the galaxy, so we'll leave our planet and we'll go to all these other planets, and you can even show Earth in this. And he said, we can go to this planet, Earth looks good, this planet looks good, and we can take over their planet and make it into new Cybertron. That's what the Decepticons want to do. The Autobots are like, no, we can use our science, our technology to fix Cybertron and stabilize the core. Now see, there you go with your conflict. That's a conflict right there. Now, to fix the core, you need some sort of technology or tool or some sort of ore, something like that you need to stabilize the core. But you also need that same technology to give enough gas and fuel to the escape pods so you can escape Cybertron. So the Decepticons, they want to use this, tool, this technology or whatever you want to call it. They want to use it to fuel the escape pods and leave Cybertron to invade another planet. The Autobots, they want to use the technology to stabilize Cybertron. They don't want to go invade no other planet. And there goes a chase. Now the Autobots have the technology, the Decepticons are chasing them. As this is happening, you go to Act 3 of the movie, which is the war. You don't necessarily establish one side walking out and then the other side walks out to the middle and we all sort of meet face to face and talk about it. No, you kind of have it break out with a skirmish that leads to a fight that sort of spreads over the whole planet. So then that's when you take your camera and you pan through the whole city, and now you see that place earlier where Bumblebee saw his love interest. Well, now Autobots and Decepticons are fighting there. You know, all those monuments and statues that we seen, they're all torn to shit now because Autobots and Decepticons are firing cannons and missiles all over the place. Everything is being destroyed. This war is going on all over the planet, not just in a little spot on the field. The whole planet, in that doctor's office, the factories where the hatchlings are, there, it's a war going on in there. So you got the doctors and the scientists trying to save the hatchlings, and some Autobots and Decepticons coming there saying, hey, I want a fucking Anakin Skywalker up in here. So that's what I'm talking about. A worldwide planetary war. That, at the same time that's going on, you have the chase with the Autobots trying to stabilize the core and the Decepticons trying to get that technology to fuel the escape pods. So you have multiple things going on at once. Now, how I would end this movie is I would end it with the Autobots unable to stabilize the core because the Decepticons get the technology and they ruin it, so they can't even fuel the pods except maybe half of them. So you can't stabilize the core and you can't fuel up all the pods, only half of them. So now what do? Well, half the Autobots and half the Decepticons get away on the leftover pods, and everybody else is left on Cybertron pretty much to go away with the planet. So that's when you have Autobots arriving on Earth. That's when you have Decepticons arriving on Earth and all these other planets in the universe, because we still have a lot of Autobots and Decepticons we haven't even talked about yet. We're just primarily talking about Bumblebee and Optimus Prime and their story through this whole movie. So that's how I would have this movie go. I would end it with them going out all over the galaxy to different planets. And then maybe you can have Bumblebee turn into that Camaro that we seen in the very first Transformer movie and being shipped to that yard. So in all, that's how I would do my Transformer movie. I would not make it, you see, I didn't have not one human in the whole movie. It was all about the robots. That's what I'm looking for when I go to see these movies. If you call it Transformers, if you call it Bumblebee, then damn it, make it primarily about those characters. I don't give a damn about going to see a Transformer movie and I got to learn about Charlie and her dead dad and shit like that. What about Bumblebee? Do Bumblebee have a dad? We don't know because they didn't talk about it at all. So that's my problem with these movies. But anyway, if you think I have some good ideas, let me know in the comment section below. I may be a little bit sloppy in how I talk about this stuff, but I ain't no professional movie writer. I'm just giving you truthfully from the heart how I feel about these movies and what I would do. But anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. That's very much appreciated. I'm chasing 1,000 subscribers. Other than that, I'll catch your ass out there in this universe. Peace.
Coming for you!